Everyone talks about making money from poultry farming, but very few people tell you the full picture. Today I'm breaking down everything: diseases, treatment, vaccination, structures, equipment, and actual Kenyan costs, so you know exactly what you're getting into. To begin with, poultry farming in Kenya is big business. Demand for eggs and chicken is high in homes, hotels, and restaurants. In addition to that, broilers take just 6 to 8 weeks, while layers start producing in about 4 months. That's fast turnover compared to most businesses. However, here's the truth: profit will only come when management is done right, not just owning chickens. Moving on, let's start with where our birds live. This is critical. First, the deep litter system is where chickens are kept inside the house on the floor using beddings like sawdust or wood shavings. It's the one of the best options for beginners because it's relatively affordable and easy to manage. Birds can move freely, which is good for their welfare, but it requires proper hygiene to avoid diseases, and there can be some food wastage. Overall, it offers a good balance between cost and management. Secondly, the battery cage system involves keeping chickens in cages arranged in rows, mainly for egg production. It is more efficient and allows for easy egg collection, better feed control, and cleaner conditions. However, it is expensive to set up, costing around 200,000 shilling to 400,000 shilling, and requires good management. It's best suited for farmers who have enough capital and are aiming for large-scale commercial egg production. Thirdly, the free-range system allows chickens to roam freely outdoors with a simple shelter provided. It's the cheapest to start, costing about 30,000 shilling to 60,000 shilling, and reduces feeding costs since the birds can forage. However, it comes with risks such as predators, disease exposure, and low production level. My honest advice is that while free range is affordable, beginners are usually better off starting with the deep litter system because it offers more control and consistent results. Now, beyond the types of system, whatever structure you choose, consider the following. A good poultry structure starts with proper ventilation to reduce heat and keep fresh air flowing, which helps prevent stress and diseases. In addition, you must give your bird enough space because overcrowding quickly leads to infections and poor growth. The floor should be raised or kept with dry litter at all times to avoid moisture buildup, which is a major cause of illness. Furthermore, you should design the house with good drainage and a roof overhang to keep out rainwater. When water enters the house, it creates damp condition and attracts diseases and parasites. A poorly designed structure will cost you more in losses than savings because bad housing directly leads to sickness and death of your birds. Next, let's talk about equipment. And don't overcomplicate this. Start with basics. A feeder ranges from 200 to 300 shillings, and this is used for feeding your birds and helping reduce feed wastage. Drinkers cost 300 to 600 shillings, and these are used for providing clean drinking water in keeping the birds hydrated at all times. A brooder, which is a heat source, costs 10,000 shilling to 25,000 shilling, and it is used for keeping chicks warm during their early days because they cannot control their body temperature. An incubator is optional and costs 15,000 shillings to 80,000 shillings. If acquired, it's used for hatching eggs instead of relying on hens. In addition to that, other essentials include disinfectant and a foot bath, which are used for preventing diseases by stopping germs from entering the poultry house. Egg trays are used for safe collection and storage of eggs. A water system is used to ensure constant supply of clean water. Lighting is used to improve visibility and support feeding and egg production. Now, let's be honest. This is where most farmers lose money. Common poultry diseases in Kenya include Newcastle diseases, which is very deadly with symptoms like coughing and twisted neck, and it has no treatment, so prevention through vaccination is key. Gumboro, also known as infectious basal disease, mainly affects young chicks and shows up as diarrhea and weakness, and it's controlled through vaccination. Coccidiosis causes bloody diarrhea and weight loss, but the good thing is it can be treated with drugs. These diseases can wipe out your entire flock in just a few days, if not controlled. So, here's the golden rule. Prevention is cheaper than treatment. What you must do is provide clean water daily, disinfect the house regularly, avoid overcrowding, limit visitors to reduce disease spread, and isolate any sick birds immediately. Disease outbreak increase your cost through medication, slow growth, and death, which is why good management is everything in poultry farming. Now, moving to the biggest cost, feed. Feeds take 60 to 70% of your total cost in poultry farming. So, this is where your profit is made or lost. Every bag of feed must be managed carefully because each broiler will eat about 4 to 5 kgs before it's ready for sale. If you mismanage feeding, whether through wastage, poor quality feed, or wrong feeding schedule, you lose profit instantly. Therefore, good feeding management is not optional. It's the difference between a profitable flock and a loss. Now, let's talk about profit. In broiler farming, profit depends entirely on how well you manage your flock. A broiler sells around 800 to 1,200 shilling depending on size and market. The profit per bird is usually 200 to 350 shilling, but only if things go right. However, you only achieve this profit if there is no disease outbreak, if feeding is properly managed without wastage, and if you secure a good market at the right time. One mistake in any of these areas can reduce or completely wipe out your profit. On the other hand, for layers, profit comes from egg production. A good layer produces about 250 to 300 eggs per year, and depending on market prices, you can earn steadily daily income from egg sales. Profit is long-term and more stable compared to broilers, but it requires patience because layers start laying at around 18 to 20 weeks. You only make good returns if feeding is consistent, diseases are controlled, and eggs are sold regularly without losses. Ultimately, poultry farming is not luck, it's a system. If you manage disease, feed, and housing properly, you will make money. If you ignore them, you will lose everything. So, if you are serious about starting poultry farming, don't rush. Start small, learn the system, then scale step by step. The farmers who win are not the ones who start big, are the ones who start smart and stay consistent. Finally, drop your questions below and I will try to respond to each of you. Thanks for watching. I'm Engineer Mercy Tembu and I will see you in the next one.